they're off. Clean, finished starts from both crews. Newcastle on the left of your screen, Durham University on your right.
Very clean in the Durham crew, I thought, and very aggressive. Look, the 7th girl there in Newcastle giving some shouts. Jessica Proctor-Crozier early on in the race, really attacking.
Yeah, really aggressive rowing there from both crews. Durham maybe slightly cleaner blade work as they come off the island.
I think so, calmer. There's less shouting. The heads are in the boat. They're focusing. They've got a different spirit in that crew. It's tough, it's resilient, it's digging in. And Newcastle are the attacking crew who are loud and giving it their all.
So, explain this to me a little bit. We saw the Durham Newcastle crew how physical and aggressive they looked, really good. And you see the Durham crew who look less physical but going quickly. But it must be obviously delivering at least as much power.
So you've got to be careful in that Newcastle crew that aggression is going into moving water on the end of the blade and not into tension in the body or actually kind of, lifting the blade too heavily to put it in. So, that's one of the challenges in rowing. It's a hugely powerful sport, but you don't want to use the power in the wrong place because you can slow the boat down. So the power needs to be purely when the blade is in the water, pushing the boat along. And that's what we're seeing here. Very calm, very relaxed, almost swan-like here, that they're very calm upper bodies. But under the water, that's where they're putting the power in, and that's making them more efficient in the Durham crew.
And I guess it's the difference between when you're inefficient, you're accelerating yourself a lot and accelerating the handle a lot, whereas if you do it properly, you connect to the boat and you accelerate the boat instead.
Exactly. So it's making sure you've got that mix, isn't it, of motivation and technique. And I love the fight in this Newcastle crew. I love that they're up for it. I love that they want to race, but they need to be smart about racing, and that's what you learn over time.
And also, you'd have a sense of the B crew against the biggest rival, and there's the A crew. You want to try and give it a go and try and at least get ahead if you can. So you just going to be really aggressive, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so. They'll have had a plan to be really aggressive off the start, and I wonder if that sort of 7 girl didn't feel they'd quite attacked enough, and she was wanting to make sure that Jessica was wanting to make sure they really gave it everything on the start to challenge Durham. They're continuing to attack, so again, lots of them here for their first time. There's some experience at Henley Women's Regatta, which is of course such a great part of development for lots of the women's crews who've come through that, and it's a great breeding ground to prepare yourself then to compete here at Henley Royal Regatta for the first time for, I think, all of this crew.
Yeah, nobody in either of the crews has rowed at Henley before, and there's less events for women, and most of the events have been very high international standard events, so it's not surprising, and not having had the regatta last year. Both universities have wins at the regatta. Durham have won 9 times, and Newcastle have won 3 times. But quite new clubs to the regatta. 1978 for Durham and 2000 for Newcastle, which is surprising.
For that Durham crew, they've had some good racing this summer. They were 4th at Championship 8 at Bucks. At Henley Women's Regatta, they lost in the semis, and they were 1 Elite 8 at Durham, and they are coached by Ian Shaw, who has a lot of experience in the sport.
Yeah, and Durham here really well drilled, really uniform sort of style that they're trying to deliver across the crew.
I think the Newcastle crew have sort of relaxed a little. It's just a little more ragged, just by margins now in terms of how the blades enter the water. Great shot there. You can see the power of them coming into the water. They just need to make sure they're not chopping off an inch at as they kind of come in, so they can keep their length. My goodness, there's some power going down there, and they are really focused and fighting. You can sort of sense they're listening to the cox, who's talking them through the race plan. They're cheering each other on in the crew. There's a great spirit, and that's fantastic to be that motivated to want to give your absolute best in your first ever row at Henley Royal Regatta.
Yeah, and I think that's indicative of the kind of program that Angela runs at Newcastle. They do a lot of pieces, a lot of intensity, a lot of side-by-side stuff, so they'll be used to this kind of on the edge, competitive side-by-side stuff.
They've had some good racing this summer at Bucks Regatta in the Intermediate 8, so in 4th place. Marlow Regatta, they were at 8th place, and some of this crew were 3rd in the intermediate quads at Bucks Regatta. So they've taken the opportunity to get racing this summer, but all of it has been building up to see what can you do in this event.
Yeah, and it's the difference, isn't it? The Newcastle crew was racing intermediate 8s at Bucks, which is right for a second 8th. But Durham was the first day in their championship 8s, and they came 4th in the championship 8s. And the Henley women's, they were fourth in the academic 8s, made the semi-final. So this is not a surprise result, looking at it on paper.
No, that's right. Newcastle knew they were underdogs, and you know, they had the underdog mentality. Let's go for it early. But you can see the class is coming through of the Durham crew. Really impressive here. They've gained in confidence as they've gone down the course, feeling that now they've kind of sucked up any of the punches that Newcastle B crew had for them. Looking really good here, and they need to be honing that technique for the challenges to come later in this event. But I like that a lot. Really good kind of relaxation, nice kind of going each side, following the arc of their crew, of their blade. So the stroke sides following their, really kind of coming around on the arc of their oars nicely, and the bow side following their oar round.
Yeah, and we're sort of over halfway down the course here. And how does the Cox manage the situation now from here to the finish?
So the Cox will have a really clear plan. They'll probably still think through the pushes they would have done. They might not do them with the same intensity, and they will probably have some technical points they're working on anyway and wanting to test through the regatta. So they'll be wanting to just hone their timing, making sure it's as precise as possible, making sure they hold the length, making sure the posture is good, making sure the shoulders are relaxed, and that they're really drawing through and finishing off each stroke. So the Cox will really be coaching them through. And of course, they're still applying the power, because look at Newcastle, they are terriers. They are putting in the pushes all the way down. So Durham can't relax too much.
No, and here, the winner of this race, this is actually the only race in the island today. The winner of this race will go through tomorrow to race Cambridge University, which will be the crew built on Goldie, the Blondie and the Blue Boat. And they won't want to do too much, because Cambridge will be fresh tomorrow, and Durham have an opportunity here not to have to be too exhausted.
That's right, but these are fit girls. Actually, you want the test sometimes, don't you? So, you know, they'll actually have some confidence from having a run out and having a really classy run out here. That will help them, I think. They know what's working, they know which bits they want to tweak tomorrow, and they'll be really ready for that. Lovely shot there.
And the value of having had the jitters and done the start of the island. So you're into the regatta, whereas Cambridge tomorrow is starting.
Yeah, it's not always that easy when you have a bye. Really supreme there. Great row, strong row from Durham.
As there comes the progress board here, Durham University making easy work with Newcastle University B crew. Really enjoying the applause from the grandstand as both crews are applauding as they come by. And here, coming to the finish, Durham University A crew lead Newcastle University B crew in the inaugural heat of the Island Challenge Cup for Women's University 8s. And here, a view, 3 cheers by the Durham crew for the Newcastle crew.